Well, it's day 2 of World Swiss Stage with coverage brought to you by Prize Picks. I'm joined right now by BrokenBlade after the craziest and most confusing match I've ever seen in my entire life. No, you guys just had I think it was probably 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes match against HLE. Very back and forth, a lot of crazy stuff, Baron steal. What was it like playing that game from the inside?
It was obviously very stressful. There's a lot of clutch moments we had to have to get into good situations, like the Nash steal. I think we actually dealt pretty well with the early game we had. I think we messed up a little bit in the early game, and the Smolder was very, very accelerated, and it made team fighting pretty hard in the later stages. So we had to figure out how we can win the game without actually team fighting, and I think we did a pretty good job. But in the end, it was a bit too hard to find the little thing that made us win. I think we found a lot of good stuff, but of course the opponents are pretty good, so they found a lot of good stuff as well. But it was a fun game to play. I'm excited to play even more and showcase that we can win. I think we showcased that. So.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask is, I know it's an exhausting game and obviously really frustrating when you lose, but sounds like you enjoy playing those kind of chaotic games where there's crazy stuff happening the whole time.
Yeah, for me, especially like this year, I feel like I've been redeeming myself in the stage, in the international stage. So I really want to beat these teams and I want to give it my all. And today it was a sad day. We lost. I really want to go back already to my practice room and figure out how I can beat these teams, because I know we can. I feel like especially in best of one format, there's a lot of that can happen, and I think we could have won this game in a different world if the early game was a little bit more crisp. But it is what it is. Sometimes you have to adapt, and I think in this game we actually adapted very, very well. I think we played amazing League of Legends. But when you play against a team that is also playing amazing League of Legends, sometimes you don't get the chance to just come back. So.
When you say that you're looking to kind of seek redemption on the international stage, what have these first 2 days been like for you on that front? Do you feel satisfied with your personal performance?
So far I feel satisfied, but that's only 2 games. So I want to have the majority, or even all of my games, be at an international level. I want to be talked about as one of the best in my role, and I need to perform at a high level every single game and not have off games. I feel like in MSI I had one off series, and that was the last series I played, and that's something that I don't want. And obviously in the previous years where I played internationally, I feel like I wasn't very dominant. So yeah, this is something I have been working on throughout this whole year, working on my individual level especially. So I think so far it's been working great, but obviously I'm always looking to get better, and today is another chance to do so. I feel like I did some good stuff in the game, but obviously there's some things that I can do better. I feel like I died like one time for free, for example, in bot lane. So.
Yeah. Who would you like to face? Because you're in an interesting situation where you're 1-1. We obviously don't know what other teams are going to be the ones that you will face yet, but if maybe we can make some guesses as to who could end up in that situation?
Obviously there's BLG now, someone that we probably wouldn't want to face. I think it would be fun to face them and beat them, but I think, for us, for me, it actually doesn't matter who we play, because if you have the goal to win the World's trophy, then we have to beat anyone.
Yeah.
Obviously there's some luck involved, I think, in draw and stuff like that, but I think if you have to require luck in early stages of Swiss stage especially, then probably not going to make it far. So for us it's just focusing on ourselves. I think we delivered a nice performance today. As I said, I think we can be even better than this. So for us it's just important we don't take this loss to be too demotivating for us, and then take it as a very, very big learning lesson, because you don't get the chance to play against the number 1 seed of LCK every day. So for us it's a nice learning lesson. We're not out yet. We still would have to lose twice, and I think we're not looking to do that. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to play more. I think we can go very, very far, but that will all depend on us.
Bin is somebody who I know you kind of have a back and forth with. How did that all start, by the way?
I'm actually not sure how it started. We had an interview with him. It was like a 30-minute interview. It was a Chinese interview, and then we did like a little arm wrestling stuff,
Yes.
and he really crushed me there. I asked him for a rematch. I hope he can rematch me at some point. So yeah, ever since then he approaches me and I approach him. I'm like, hey, hello. We always say hello to each other in the hallways. It's a very, very nice dude. You know, it's like it's just cool to have someone, you know, like you connect a little bit with, even though you don't really speak the same language.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, I think.
So is he an opponent that you're hoping to match up against?
Yeah,
in Swiss?
always. I think Bin is a great opponent to play against, especially he's looked at one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a very big motivation to go up against him and beat him, especially because I feel like this year it's my best year yet of my whole career, like individually. So I'm very excited to showcase that. I don't think I had the chance to play against him in MSI. So for me, it would be nice to play against him at some point during this tournament.
Were you surprised at all that your former team, TSM, was not here?
I'm not surprised.
Oh, okay.
They can't be
Harsh
here,
words.
literally, right? But I would have liked them to be here. I can say that. Last time I was with TSM in Worlds, it wasn't going too well. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the TSM times is a good memory of mine. So.
I laugh only and bring it up just because I think there's been a lot of nostalgia right now about the LCS, given that its future is uncertain, I guess, as a brand. I think a lot of people expect it to be going away. Have you given much thought? Do you have many, like, is it interesting? Do you see what's happening with North American with LCS?
I'm not sure how to think about it. I mean, I feel like LCS has been improving in gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, I actually believe they have been better than the last years, and I think huge respect to you know the teams that made it here. I think there's that thing, but also on the other hand, I'm not sure why they did the mixing with the. But it could be interesting, right? I think especially with this huge Brazilian community, it could be a big thing. And I think, of course, for the Brazilian community, it probably sucks a bit more than for the American community. But I think it's a nice thing. I think it can bring two communities together. So I hope it will do that instead of separating them and making them like hate each other. I think it can be a very, very nice thing, but it has to be coming from the community, I think.
There is some debate back and forth about whether or not EU is this. A lot of people like to say LEC is like a one-team region, with you guys being the team, obviously. Do you think that's fair?
I mean, I think that will just depend on the other teams. You know,
Yeah.
I would love for other EU teams to you know show up and play well and do stuff like that. But for us, in the end, we don't really care. Like, of course, we would like it if EU is doing great, but at the end of the day, we want to win and not let the other European teams win. So we don't care. We want to do good. But it would be nice to see Fnatic make it far, Matt make it far. I mean, we didn't even make it far. We lost to NA last year.
Right.
This is something we don't want to happen this year,
Yeah.
or at least we want to be much further than going out in Swiss stage, which is something that we still like think about. So we really want to go step by step. And today we lost sadly, but we can take everything we can from today and bring it with us.
It's awesome. Hey, thank you so much for the interview. I know you said
you.
you want to get back to practice and figuring out what happened in that game, so I'll let you go. But anything you want to say to anybody out there?
Thank you guys for supporting us today. It was an interesting game. I hope you guys were supportive of us. And the next games, whoever we are going to face, we will do our best to win and make it far and not repeat last year.
Thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds right here on my YouTube channel. We are at Worlds. That's right. Behind me is the stage where the players play, and you can play Prize Picks, my sponsor. They sent me all the way to Worlds. I just got to promote them. I got to shout them out because it's so cool that they were able to get Drew and I over here to Berlin so that we can make content for you. If you would like to play Prize Picks and you think you could do so responsibly, please go check that link in the description below. It's a really fun way to engage with the Worlds matches, and you can play it with friends. You can do whatever you want to there, but signing up with that link and using code Travis is a great way to support my content.